Welcome, everyone. My name is Emma Porter, and I'm here interviewing Kristina today for National Adoption Month. I'm an employee at Buckner Children and Family Services. I've been here for 5 years, and I'm the LifeDesign Maternity Counselor. Often you hear from the adoptees and the adoptive parents, but I'm excited today for you to hear more a little bit about birth parent perspective. Kristina and I went through her adoption placement 4 years ago. So I'm excited for you to hear how that journey went and where she is now. So if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and sharing a little bit about you.
My name is Kristina Anders. I am 46 years old. I'm a mother of 6, along with 2 dogs that are my girls. And this journey has completely transformed my life in many ways.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen it.
Yeah.
We've all seen it. The first thing I'm really curious about is, and what I want to share with people is, how did you find Buckner and what kind of caused you to think about adoption or reach out?
Right. Okay. So finding out that I was pregnant was quite the shock. And I thought I was done having children. And I had no idea how I was going to go forth. Someone called me. I had a counselor call me and ask me what my plans were. And I said, I have no idea. And she said, are you in the position to raise a child? And I said, absolutely not. I have lots of children. Mm-hmm. And she said, have you thought about adoption? And I said, no, but tell me more. What do I do? What do I do? And she said, how about I have someone contact you? And I said, okay, I'm game. What do we do? And she said, give me a few days. Let me see if I can get this, squared away. And you called me. I think it may have been 48 hours. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. And a peace came over me. I was still nervous and in shock and didn't know how it was all going to work out. But a peace came over me that everything was going to be okay. And even though I didn't have all of the pieces put into place, I felt that God was literally right there beside me and walking me through every single step. And I still remember the first day I met you, and I met his parents. Now, he started doing flips in my belly, and I knew that was where he belonged.
Mm-hmm. And there were so many deep connections from the beginning that mm-hmm. were kind of, it felt ordained.
It did. It was planned it was planned that way. God knew exactly what he was doing, even though I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
It was very comforting knowing that in the middle of everything, he was holding it together in his hands, and he already had all of this figured out. Mm-hmm. And all I had to do was trust him.
Mm-hmm. And that, I would say, you didn't meet them till a little bit later. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about towards the beginning again. Because I do agree. It felt like everything kind of fell into place. There's a deep connection with y'all, but it didn't start there. We had to, kind of get through some things. So another thing I want to talk about is, I guess you didn't originally seek help or seek out. They kind of brought it up to you, mm-hmm. and it's something you knew that maybe this wasn't the best option for you.
Right.
Did you think of any other options? Did you think there was,
Oh, let's start with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I panicked mm-hmm. when I was pregnant. When I found out I was pregnant again, I panicked. I attempted maybe 6 times to go and have an abortion. Mm-hmm. The very last time I went, I had a breakdown in the waiting room, and I knew this just wasn't. I couldn't do this. Mm-hmm. I couldn't live with myself. And I think that at that point, that's when I realized that letting go of control, which is a big thing for me. I like to control everything, but learning to let go and realizing that you don't have to control everything. You don't have to squeeze the life out of it. Mm-hmm.
That control was coming from, I guess, the fear of
The fear of the unknown. Yes.
So valid fear.
Yes.
So once you, and by the way, when I describe Kristina, I think she is one of the best moms. She cares about her kids so much. And I truly think that this decision was a very hard decision, but because you do care about your kids, you knew it was the best
The
decision.
hardest decision I've ever made. Absolutely.
But I think sometimes when women are considering placing, they think like, I'm not a good mom for doing this.
Right.
I think you were the best mom for doing this.
I agree. I would have to agree with that.
Right. I know that it was hard, but I think it was from a very intentional
Loving
and loving
place.
place.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm sure he knows that.
He does.
So once you connected with me,
Yes.
what kind of, and I know probably a lot of this is a blur.
It is. Because COVID was going on too, right?
Yes.
So the whole world was just,
Yes.
it was mayhem.
Truly.
My entire pregnancy was
Yes.
just like every day
Yes.
something new.
Right. It made everything kind of more difficult.
Yes.
Like meeting with them.
Yep.
Even the hospital.
Yep.
We had to pull a few strings here
So
and
many
there.
strings.
So once we connected, how would you describe kind of what went on between meeting, because we met pretty early in your pregnancy, to placement? And I know there's lots of things you could say. So
many things.
Like what kind of sticks out?
Um,
Like, what did it look like, or what kind of feelings did you go through?
a lot of feelings. You go through, so there's sadness that comes because I'm growing this child, and then I'm just supposed to just give him away when I have all these other ones. Like it was a lot of confusion. I was scared. I wanted to make sure that I was making the right decision for him and for myself, and for the children that I already had. I wanted to make the right decision for everybody. It was scary. It was very scary. Probably one of the loneliest periods in my life that I can remember. But at the same time, I learned that two things can be true at the same time.
Exactly.
So you can be more scared than you've ever been, and also have a peace that surpasses all understanding. You can be confused, but also know you don't have to have all of the answers.
If you could explain to people something that you wish they understood about birth moms and the decisions that they make, what is something you would want people to understand or know?
You know, just because someone places a child doesn't mean they don't love them. In fact, I would argue to say that they probably love them even more because they've decided to, number one, keep them alive, to give them a fighting chance, and to give them to parents that have desperately prayed for them and wanted them for a very long time. Not everybody gets the gift to carry a child. And I realized that that is a gift, but raising a child is also such a gift. And to be able to be a part of that, to give that to another family, it's just to watch them grow together as a family, to remove myself, my feelings out of it, to not be selfish and to think about the bigger picture. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever watched. And to be a part of that, it's pretty, I'm in awe that God chose me to be a part of their story.
Obviously, this comes with, like you said, so many feelings of grief, sadness, and then also peace at the same time. So kind of talk about how you worked through all of the feelings.
So that is one thing I did discover. So you have to feel your way through these things. You can't smoke your way out of it. You can't drink your way out of it. You have to feel it in order to heal it. And sitting with Jesus, man, this is how I've got through it. I have hours and hours reading the Bible, going to seminars, letting him help me work through these feelings, because it's a lot all at once. It's so much. You get flooded. Your brain gets it feels like maybe over processed, oversaturated with you're happy, you're sad, you're angry, you're confused. And how do you even sort it all out? You kind of just have to sit with it and just let it go. There is no fast way to get through it. Being patient with yourself, learning grace, give yourself grace.
And I think during our sessions that we had after placement, having that hour or two that we spend together be a place to just let you have those feelings. Yep. And then even after we stopped doing counseling together, I think at that point you were at a better place to process through your feelings by yourself, because you had more wisdom.
I had more guidance.
Yeah.
And learned how to deal with it.
And you did a great job.
Thank you.
So your relationship with your son and his family kind of go through, I guess you can start with where you are now.
Okay.
If you want to reach back and say where you've come from.
Okay.
You can do that as well.
So where we are now, we have open communication with each other. His mom and I, we text each other throughout the day if something funny happens or whatever. We send each other like little remarks. She sends me pictures of him, in the morning when he's got food on his face or whatever. We do Skype calls. I get to see him eat breakfast. They have been the most amazing parents, and they have allowed me a spot in his life, and I feel so blessed to be allowed to watch him grow. He knows who I am. There are pictures all over his room of him and I. The last time we were together, we watched videos of me reading to him in the hospital when he was 5 days old.
I remember that.
That was really cool. He's so funny. He's so funny. He's the sweetest child. He's got the kindest heart.
So at the hospital, you had brought the book.
Yep.
What's it called?
I Love You Forever.
I Love You Forever.
Yeah.
And that was your gift to him.
Yes.
And it was a beautiful experience that she got to read it to him before she went home and he went home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was recorded.
Yep.
And I think while that was a hard moment to experience, being able to see how far you've come.
Yes.
And the grace and the connection that has grown. And he's going to have that video forever.
Forever.
And that's part of the great part of open adoption.
Yeah.
Being open to the most love a child could possibly
Absolutely.
have, which is the hope that I have for open adoption.
Yes.
I know that not every open adoption looks the same. But to me, that it gives me peace knowing that you have that experience, that you
This was definitely
want
a match made in heaven. God had this all planned out, and it's just really neat to be a part of it, to watch his plan come together and unfold.
And so after all of this, again, like you said, it's an ever-going process. It's not all roses and butterflies all the time. There's definitely some deep points as well. What would you say to somebody who is considering adoption or just curious about what that looks like? Because again, not everyone knows about open adoption, and just hearing all the great things about it, that sounds great, but not knowing actually a real person who it has flowered into something this amazing. What would you say to them?
I'm going to be really blunt right here. There are two options in my opinion. You can have an abortion, or you can have this baby. You can't take care of this baby. You could give this baby to someone else that can take care of it. I'm so grateful that you guys were there to guide me. The fear that had overtaken me was not from the Lord. And fear can help you make the bad decisions, rash decisions, fast decisions that you hadn't thought about and haven't processed. Had you gone down that road, I don't see life or anything beautiful coming from that, because you've ended something. Mm-hmm. You've not allowed it to begin. So what I would say is just give it a chance. The one way you go, there's going to be hurt, and there's just going to be more and more and more hurt. The other way, it's going to hurt, but it's not going to hurt forever. It's not going to hurt forever. It does get better. Mm-hmm. Giving your child to somebody is the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing I ever thought I would do. But it's also been the most beautiful and the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Most joyful and bitter, mm-hmm. and happy, mm-hmm. and scary, mm-hmm. all rolled into one. Mm-hmm. I was a mess before, a complete mess. And recommitting my life to the Lord. I was just recently baptized. My entire world has changed completely.
I truly want to thank you for coming today and letting me talk to you. It's been a while since we've gotten to sit and chat. What we went through together, I will always remember. And again, I'm glad we get to share it with people today. And thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.